Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to another Planet FPL Clash of the Correspondents. We've got another local derby on this podcast. Firstly, let me introduce you to our Brentford correspondent. It's Tom Med. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Not bad at all. Thanks for having me again.
Good stuff. And our Chelsea correspondent, Gary Mantle's in. How are you, Gary?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to another incident-free local derby.
Yeah, I mean, you love a local derby, don't you, mate? You've had three London derbies already. Why not make it four? I think the lack of travel's been good for you after the Club World Cup. We'll come back onto that. Tom, I want to start with you. Time recording, just to timestamp this. It is Monday evening. The transfer window is not long shut. Tom, round up your transfer window in terms of incomings in a sec. But I guess first and foremost, we are assuming Joao Pedro is a Newcastle player
We
at the
can
time of
hope.
recording. We
Yeah,
can
we can.
hope.
We can
You
hope.
you were very clear in the summer. Get him out. I'm
Yeah.
guessing you're pleased.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm ecstatic to be honest. Yeah, I think I put a tweet out earlier saying like at this time, I think this just before the £55 million bin. It was like at this time I would happily give Newcastle money to take him off us because yeah, don't need that in your club, do you? So yeah, he put out some weird statement yesterday, and it was just like, oh, just get in the bin sort of thing at that point. It's just like he's putting messages out like, oh, thank you for the fans for all their support. And I was like, I can tell you for free, they are definitely not supporting you in this case. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Newcastle game in November because I'm sure there'll be plenty of booze for him while he's sat on the bench.
One incoming on deadline day. We assuming at time of recording it's
Yeah.
all bar official. Reece Nelson in loan from Arsenal. He's a loan, isn't it, Tom? Am I right?
Yeah, loan with probably obligation to buy, it sounds like. Not obligation, option to buy. So, if his hamstrings hold out.
Thoughts on that? It was quite cheap in FPL. It's 4.9.
I mean, it's what he had a really good few games for Fulham last year and then he got injured. So, I mean, if he can stay fit, I really like him as a player. I think he's young and obviously he's still got lots of potential, but it's whether he can stay injury free. And if he can stay injury free, then I think it's a great little pickup on loan. And then obviously we then have the option to buy, which is great. But yeah, we're a little bit short up front, let's say.
Okay, we'll come back onto that because that possibly does finally, despite me poo-pooing it a lot in the summer, maybe now we can trust in Thiago a little bit more. But I wanted to speak to you about Dango,
Mm,
who's obviously signed since we last spoke. I've poo-pooed the fee, but I like him. He
yeah.
started well. Thoughts on Dango Ouattara?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess when you've got a war chest of £120 million to spend on two players, you may as well spend it. You may as well spend it stupidly on Dango Tara. So, um,
Gary can barely hide his smile at the war chest of 120 million. Please continue.
well, for us, Christ, bloody hell, it's like feel like, well, I mean, little old Brentford with 120 million to spend
It should have
is
bid for
scary
Isak,
money.
mate.
Yeah, still couldn't afford him. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a really. I've been really impressed with the first two games I watched of him. He's looked really good. Um, so yeah, I'm quietly excited about him. I think the fee is a little bit crazy, but the fees for all the players seem a bit mad this window. So I'm sort of, I mean, 42 million, still young. Yeah, I don't know.
We did
Time will tell.
we did a COTC with yourself and Neil Grover, our Bournemouth correspondent, last year. I think we did two actually,
Yeah.
and we spoke a lot about the comparisons in terms of the two clubs and the size and how well they've done in the Premier League. Can you quite believe that your two clubs have exchanged a transfer for over £40 million?
No. No, exactly. Um, yeah, well, I mean, Bournemouth have done plenty over that this summer, and so have we. So it's a little bit strange. Um, but yeah, spending £40 million on a player as us is yeah weird and unheard of. It would have been nice if they spent £40 million on a few more players, but we'll have to settle with what we've got.
Gary, your club deadline day, quiet. Almost feel like I'm on top of things. Normally, I kind of scheduled this podcast and was almost expecting you to go who Gary, who Gary, who Gary. But I think I know where I'm at.
That's because you still believe the media narrative that we're scattergun, and I don't think that we are necessarily anymore. I think we're a bit more sensible than that these days. So you thought we were going to sign players? Is that what you're saying?
I think there's always an assumption that you're just going to sign players, mate, whenever you can.
Um, I don't know. See, I don't necessarily think that's true. And actually, I think we've probably ended up maybe a player or two short than,
Okay.
than what we might have hoped.
So where do you think you'd short? I'm going to guess left-footed defender would be a start, maybe, would it?
So, but this is one where I'm actually happy because I think we've been quite sensible. We didn't panic. We have panic bought a centre back before. This is why we've got Axel Disasi in the first place. When Fofana got injured a couple of years ago, we're down a centre back. We'll get Disasi, and now we can't get rid of Disasi. Um, what we couldn't do is go and buy another centre back who's, let's say, 23 years old, who wants to play first team all the time. Because what are you going to do next season when you've got Levi Colwill and this player? It's like, so it's actually quite sensible. Now, if we'd had a stopgap available, then maybe. But I think I was happy enough for us to not and say, well, look, we'll have to develop Achiampong. Might have to rely on Wes Fofana to stay fit for more than a fortnight. But we've got enough. We do. It's not that we don't have enough players. So
People haven't
once
seen
Bobby
Hatto
Shaw
yet,
comes
have
back,
they, really?
no, this is it exactly. So it's like, oh, how many do we want to buy until we are literally just stockpiling? So I was happy enough with that. But I think we're light centre forward now
So Jackson's a Bayern Munich player, is he?
on loan with various reports. This all like so we're recording this Monday night. I'm assuming later as the week goes on, people will actually find out the details of what's happened here. So there's an obligation. I think it's based on appearances. And depends on who you listen to as to whether that is a lot of appearances or not a lot of appearances. Apparently, Chelsea think that this obligation will get met. But I don't know how many it is. I don't know what the obligation is. And he's obviously not going to be the first choice striker. So I don't know. But Chelsea are under the impression that it will be. So it's like 15 now and then 65. And I think that's in euros if he plays a certain number of games. And then he'll be a
It
Bayern
seems a
player.
strange one. We know historically, obviously, Harry Kane gets rested a lot.
Well, we need him to get injured, really. If we're going to get 80 million, rest him for the World Cup. But
Who do you think? Who do you think's pushed for this? Is it the club has pushed for him to go? Is it the player? Is it the manager? Whose decision is this? Because you and I have spoken in the past quite a bit about him in terms of his underrated strengths, in terms of his importance for Chelsea.
yeah, I think it is probably him. But I mean, I don't think the club have stood in his way. So towards the end of last year, he was basically our only striker. We had Gui, but Jackson was like the main man. And we thought, we know we're going to buy somebody else in the summer, but we thought, or I thought that was going to be a backup to Jackson or someone to compete with him. And then we bought Delap. We thought, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then we also bought Joao Pedro. So in that meantime, Jackson got sent off at Newcastle. He then scored in the Conference League final, but got sent off again in the Club World Cup. So it's almost as if he forced himself down the pecking order. And then there's like, then he's looking at Delap and Joao Pedro going, well, they're going to play instead of me. I don't want to be on the bench. I want to go. So it's almost as if he put himself in that position and then decided that he wanted to leave and the club weren't going to stand in his way if they got the fee that they wanted. And it sounds like that's what's happened with Bayern if the appearances are met, as far as
You
my understanding is on Monday night as we're recording this.
so it looked like after the lap injury on Saturday,
Hmm.
you maybe tried to hold on to Jackson. I mean, you
Yeah.
know a lot about planes. Can they fly backwards or not?
No, they can't. And I mean, we tried to get them to do it. They apparently they can't fly backwards. His agent was right, as it turns out. They do know what they're talking about. That I find a bit strange. Yeah, because all that seems to happen is that the loan fee increased slightly, and then the obligation became more likely to be met. But why did the Delap injury make that happen? And this is one of the things I've actually defended us quite a lot particularly over this summer. I thought we've been pretty smart, but did we not think it was possible that one of our strikers might get injured? I mean, we're actually lucky. We're lucky that he got injured before the deadline closed. Because
Yeah, he could
what
have
did we
got
do
injured
this at
this
Brentford?
next weekend, right? Whatever.
Exactly, that's it. And then what have you done? It's like surely you must have known this was possible. So what we've got really is we have a nine where we play Joao Pedro or Liam Delap, and then the 10 where we'll play Palmer or Joao Pedro. But we've only got three for those two positions. And currently two of them are injured. So we've already left ourselves short. Because actually the player that we brought on at the weekend is Tyreek George. But he's gone.
We think.
Yeah, we don't know. Again, this yeah.
Has
It
Nkunku
sounds
gone?
like he's going to Fulham. And Kunku's gone to AC Milan.
Sterling?
No, he's still there. Can't find anyone to take him.
I mean, literally by the time this podcast comes out, that feels like that might be different. Because
Uh,
Sterling's not going to be involved for you, is he?
no, not at all. I don't even think they'll register him in the squad, and he's not one that automatically gets registered. So no, I assume it's difficult. No, I don't know. I don't know. There might
Lads,
even be space for him.
you've obviously recalled Mark Go, so I presume they're looking at that as almost your fourth
Mm.
number in there, if you will,
Yeah, the
for an
fourth for the two
emergency.
positions. Yeah,
Yeah, but I suppose if
but
João Pedro is one or the other, Delap
yeah,
when he's available,
and
Palmer at 10.
so should be Pedro Neto because he played at centre forward last season a few times. But then it wasn't him that went there against Fulham, and I know that Maresca will base it on the opposition, which is fine and sensible. But I think he's probably one of the options as well. But yeah, it looks like Mark Gui is going to be part of the first team squad.
Okay. We'll come back onto that and some of the FPL stuff. Tom, I want to ask you, Thiago, as I said, I kind of poo-pooed it a bit in the summer because I really thought it was a strong possibility you might buy another striker. If he got injured tomorrow, who plays nine?
Can Shadow play up front now? Yeah.
So Thiago's pretty safe here for minutes now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, he's got no competition, so as long as he doesn't get injured, he's going to play every game.
And I suppose he might be on pens now as well.
He bloody well better be. Although,
What's
to be fair, I wasn't convinced from his first pen either in the first game. So, yeah, I assume he will be on pens for the next one because that was Kevin Schadé's penalty on the weekend was stinking. So
Yeah, it does seem strange. Number nine comes in, scores a penalty opening weekend, and then you get another penalty cut the games later and change.
yeah, his penalty record is actually, although it was the first penalty looked awful, his penalty record previously was pretty good. So I think he'll be back on penalties if he's.
So if you're a Thiago owner, there's two bits of positive news there. Would you advise people to hold, or are you looking at fixtures going, meh, move it on?
I mean, I guess he's so cheap. What for a starting striker, he is cheap. So I mean, you can just stick him on the bench. Was six? Well, I've got him, so 6 million, isn't he? So there's not many other players around that price range that are starters anymore. Um, so if you can afford it, I mean, you can just stick him on the bench.
So which free Brentford did you go for in the end, Tom?
I went for Kelleher in goal. Carvalho, I thought I'd take a punt because I wasn't expecting us to sign Dango Ouattara so quickly, and which looked like it was a good pick. And then because he was so cheap, and then I got Thiago up top.
Okay, so Thiago, I take it as a hold for you, and I'm going to
Yeah,
guess Kelleher would be a hold as well.
yeah, and then
Is that
just
a rotational keeper for you, or have you got that like with the Bravko? What is
um,
it?
I've got Verbruggen because I did free hit. I did bench boost on the first week, but to be honest, I was going to go down the route of just playing Keller every week and just there'll be save points in there, or um, yeah, sorry, there'll be save points in there, and I think it'll be fine. So I probably will just stick with it and just unless it's a really peachy fixture for Brighton, I'll probably just keep one keeper in.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. Any question marks on Kelleher at the weekend on the winning goal?
Yeah, it wasn't great, but um, yeah, he could have. I mean, he could have done better, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's in, he's new, he's going to make mistakes. Every keeper makes a mistake that, it's not, it's life and just deal with it. And he's a good keeper and I think he's already shown he looks half decent. So no, it's get on with it and move on to the next one.
I take it Carvalho is a sell.
Yes.
Okay, so how are you going to work in a third Brentford player now, Tom? What's the plan?
I've already sold Palmer last week to get the money in. So then I'll just do Carvalho straight to Dango Tara.
Okay, is that what you're going to
No, probably not. But
do?
if we have better fixtures, then maybe, but maybe not quite yet.
Gary, any Brentford for you at the moment?
No, not at the moment.
You've had a good start as well, haven't you, mate?
I'm top of the Correspondence League.
I only see one
That's
person above me at the moment, and I
I
believe
know
it's you.
it is. That's right. I know. I don't know where it's come from.
Is that because you've got no Brentford players?
Probably.
Um,
No, me neither. I haven't got any either.
It's like, I thought I'd come for a lovely chat, and it's just like,
I didn't say any of
yeah,
that.
I know. Oh, it's always James. It's always James. Don't worry.
Are you pleased with the start, Tom, or not? Or is it kind of was that a real disappointment at Sunderland at the weekend?
Yeah, it was. It's one of those where we've traded our 3 points that we should have probably got at Sunderland for our 3 points that we got at Villa instead. So, but then you watch sort of Villa's results recently, and they're not playing amazingly. So it's sort of actually not great. I think we truly should be on 6, but it doesn't seem to be there.
Okay. Gary, what have you made of Chelsea start?
Well, I was listening. I've only actually listened to the start of your podcast, but because we were first, that was fine. And Suj was saying that he didn't think that Chelsea played that well this season, and I agree. To be honest, I don't think we have started that well.
Despite being such
Um,
a team 5-1. Love that.
yeah, but what he said was right. That in the first 20 minutes of that game, it was pretty even, and then I mean, from them, we did control the game, and
They collapsed.
they were terrible. Like, let's be honest, they were abysmal. Um, but we weren't that great against Crystal Palace. Remember as well, we've had a goal against us disallowed in every single one of these games as well early on.
Wow,
Um,
you're right, aren't you? Eze, Fulkrug, and Josh King
yeah,
at the weekend.
and the
That's
full group
amazing.
one is factual.
So
And
you are paying for the referees or not?
well, we've stopped signing players, so yeah, we must be the money must be going
Some spare
somewhere.
cash for the
Yeah,
PGMOL, yeah?
that's it exactly. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but even then, like. I thought actually the one thing that I did like from the game against Fulham was I liked how we played, particularly second half, and especially when it got to 2-0, that um, it didn't look like we were going to let Fulham back into it. And I think this is something that, as a wider point, that I think is I've seen the improvement in Chelsea towards the back end of last season and also at the Club World Cup and then continuing on this season, that they do look a lot more mature. We seem a lot um, better at sort of managing situations. We don't get necessarily sucked into things as much as we used to when they were young. There's only so long you can go on about how young your team is, and like before someone goes, "Well, do something about it," and how what are you ever going to achieve if you're always going to say this? And it's like, and I think I've seen them grow anyway as a team, and players like Moises Caicedo have really helped that because he plays like he's got 15 years experience. And now he gets rewarded for that in FPL with his DEFCON contributions with 23 that he got against Fulham, which is
Yeah, but he only had like about 4 against West Ham, didn't he? Which really summed up that game. We
sums up
spoke
how
about
bad
that.
West Ham were. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even have to make a tackle. Yeah, 23 defcons for Casado at the weekend is quite remarkable actually. What Chelsea you got at the moment, mate?
Sanchez, Palmer, and Joao Pedro.
Please tell me you've got Kurt as well.
I don't know.
Right, someone, Gary, is in that situation
Hmm.
with no money in the bank. If Palmer is past fit for the game at Brentford, what should people do?
Well, presumably, if you've got him, you haven't got him as one of your starters anyway. So there's no need. Like as you said, if you make a transfer, it has to then be on a Chelsea player. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to take Palmer out ahead of Brentford.
No, but imagine you're sitting there and you've got a couple of other injuries or something. You got to deal with something, haven't you? If you have.
Do you? I mean, that's not what I've done so far. Is I've got Frimpong and Palmer still in my team, and I knew they weren't going to play. Sometimes you don't have to deal with injuries.
No, that's right. Patience sometimes pays. What will you do with Palmer if he's not past fit for Brentford?
Then that would be the time to to sell him. If he's not past, I've kind of held him with the expectation that he will be fit for the Brentford game, and knowing how many people were going to sell him, that I thought it would be hopefully some sort of advantage. You can't call him a differential. He's obviously way too highly owned for that, but
No, but
a
it was
lot of
about
people
2
sold him.
million sales for him, I think.
Yeah, and then if he's back for Brentford and he gets a couple of returns, then holding him was the right thing. And if
Captain
he's back,
consideration for you?
yeah, he's a consideration. I don't know that he will be, but I think
What
that
what
he will
what
be my captain. But
what do you need for that? Because I've sold him, and my
mm,
plan had been to captain him probably, well, certainly this week and probably game week 6, maybe as well, particularly considering obviously the 4 goals against Brighton last season that he got. I can't see me
mm,
buying him back this week. What do you need to feel the confidence to captain him this week? Because if you don't have Salah or Haaland, I'm going to guess maybe you don't.
I've got Haaland.
You've got Haaland. So would you potentially captain Palmer over Haaland?
I don't think so. Reality's like, but who knows what's going to happen? It's the international break, so who knows who's going to get injured? Well, Palmer's presumably not going to get more injured. I think Palmer's going to be back. We've done this with him before.
I think probably right. It felt like a international break.
Hmm.
We'll go to one game without him. You're nodding along. I'm guessing that's what you think as well.
It seemed pretty convenient. We saw it last season. He quite often seems to miss the game before an international break. So yeah.
You told us in pre-season, Gary, that you thought Joao Pedro was underpriced.
Hmm.
So far, you appear to be right. I take it you're pretty happy with that. It's the highest scoring attacking player in FPL across the first three game weeks.
Yeah, so I know I was thinking about earlier on, like, what was people's worry with Joao Pedro? Is it that you like don't think he's good enough? Well, that's fine. Or is it you don't think he's going to get the minutes? Because I'd said he will get the minutes. I'd said I think he was going to start for Chelsea because of his versatility. They'll find a way. They'll find a place to put him in. So he's not always going to be the centre forward, but I think he is going to play the majority of the time. So if you have doubts about his ability, that's fine. If you're concerned of him as on minutes, then bite the bullet. I think you're wrong. I think
You've
play him.
obviously now seen in players a 9 and a 10. Is there
Hmm.
a position that you prefer him in?
No, but what I would have really liked to have seen was that side that we meant to play against West Ham that had Delap, Joao Pedro, and Cole Palmer in it.
Do you think that was
And that's
Palmer
it.
on the right?
Yes, because Gusto was playing as well, so Palmer would have been on the right, drifting in.
Yeah, it made me suspicious because we'd spoken about it. The role that Nkunku played, I want to say
Mm.
maybe against Palmeiras at the Club World Cup, where he played right wing and just moved off into left half space positions, went even past Palmer into sanctuaries to keep Palmer in the right 10 space. And I was a little suspicious that João Pedro might perform something similar. I think I was quite alone in that thought. So you assumed it was going to be Palmer, right?
That's what I assumed, but again, I would have quite liked to just to see it because sometimes I have an idea, and yeah, you might have an idea, and then we might both be wrong, or one of us might be right, or
Probably.
whatever. But yeah, that's it. But I was quite intrigued to see what Maresca was going to do there. But so I'm sure we will see that at some point, however long Delap's actually out for. Um, but I think he's the only one that seems to have the same sort of desire as Palmer to get himself on the ball, maybe a bit deeper as one of the attacking players, and then try and create something. And like I didn't actually think he played that well against Fulham, to be honest, but he's trying to do all the right things, and he's obviously still quite new as well, and he's certainly new to that position for us. So
Do, do we
that's
read
fine.
anything into the fact that the two goals he scored have been from corners? I.e., that's probably not something that's going to be regularly sustainable.
No, well, I mean, it's not something that's going to be sustainable, but it suggests that the goals that he would
But I
normally
think he
score
has been
haven't
the
yet
target
started.
of those two goals, if that makes sense. I think part of the set plays was this will end up with João Pedro. I think that's intentional.
Yeah, but he's also he. I don't know how much this comes into it with corners, but his spatial awareness is really good. He's really like intelligent at like finding little gaps, and like I don't know that that's if it's that at corners or if they just worked on something, but I'm hoping that there's a lot more to come from him, like in open play and types of goals that you would expect him to score.
Okay. What would you say to someone who's maybe sitting on, say, Watkins at the moment, thinking, oh my God, Villa haven't scored? Go to João Pedro?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember how Tom described Villa's start, but they haven't scored a goal. So yeah, disappointing is one way of putting a team that's not scored in 3 games. Um, I think surely goals are going to come for Watkins. I, it's one of them, isn't it? It's a tough one because you know what happens if you switch him. But then how long do you just watch it go the wrong way? And João Pedro is cheaper than Watkins as well, isn't he?
Yeah, mate, there's that. So it might be finding money for people towards maybe Haaland in a couple of weeks, for example. Just trying to think. I mean, what about Wood? Wood goes to Arsenal in game before, but then he's got Burnley and Sunderland afterwards. Obviously, quite a few went to Wood last week.
Um, that's just something that people have to decide for themselves. All I can tell you with João Pedro is he's going to play. He's going to play a lot, and I think he's going to be the one of the main focal points of our attack.
Okay. Tom, what Chelsea you got?
Tosin and Joao Pedro, and I sold Palmer this week.
Okay. If you didn't have João Pedro, would you consider going Thiago to him?
Um,
If you'd have had the money hypothetically in the bank.
and I wasn't as biased as I normally am. Um,
It's a stupid question to
this
ask
is
you. I
yeah, it
realise
really
that,
is,
but
isn't it?
carry on.
Yeah, no,
Just
no,
go with it.
but in taking off my Brentford bias, yeah, I mean, makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh wow! So that is, I take it you're a happy João Pedro owner at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, like Gary said, I took Gary's advice and listened to his one at the start of the year. He said he's going to play and he's cheap, so yeah, it made sense.
Okay. I take it you had Adarabioyo from the start, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gary, how safe is that now with Adarabioyo playing and his minutes? Because there was a few gambled, obviously quite close to the game at one deadline. We're really unlucky that he then didn't play against Palace. Is it secure moving forward now?
Well, he's the first choice, but what does that mean when the Champions League kicks in? Like, I don't think he's going to play every single match. I think there'll have to be other things that other solutions that we find, but I don't know what they're going to be because I haven't seen us play in anything other than a joke European competition under Maresca. So I don't know what happens now when we have more matches. But until there's congestion, he's going to want to play Tosin basically every game. He is a leader at the back. He's actually really popular at Chelsea as well. The rest of the players really like him. Particularly Cole Palmer really likes him. They're sort of best mates. So
Yes, I've seen them larking about.
yeah.
But the centre back's a bit different to attacking players, though, isn't it? In terms of the endurance needed to play the position, or do we expect Maresca to heavily rotate that position then?
Um, I don't know how much rotation we can do, really. It depends how much he trusts Achiampong. It depends how many centre backs he wants to play. It depends how fit Wesley Fofana is. Depends if he is going to use Hato as one of his centre backs, or if I mean he could still use Cucurella there. Um, you're right, it is different, and it might be that he does think, well, if you've got 5 games in 2 weeks, then he can miss one of them, and it might be that that's a League Cup game or whatever, and actually it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the forthcoming period. I mean, it's actually quite a challenging week for you when you come back. Obviously, Brentford away is the Saturday night. Then you go to Bayern in the midweek for your Champions League
Mm,
opener. Then there's a trip to Manchester United on a Saturday evening. So three challenging away games. My insight on that would be that Adarabioyo would play all of them, and then you rotate for Lincoln in the cup, and then you've
yeah,
got Brighton, Benfica, Liverpool, and he plays all three of them, and then it's international break again. I think it'd be all right, mate.
yeah. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense, and that is probably what Maresca will try to do. But I don't know if there is anything in this injury that he had that ruled him out of game week 1. Um, hopefully not. But
Who would be your just remove Cucurella from this conversation? We know Gusto James kind of chops about quite a bit between Chalobah and Adarabioyo. Who's kind of number one? It's not a fancy question. Is there like a number one now that with Colwill out that Maresca's gonna be like, yeah, I always want to play this one because there was the comments, wasn't there, prior to game week 1 about Adarabioyo's the only one that can really play centrally here.
yeah, so he's the one. I'd been talking to Tom from who got the assist about this prior to game week 1, and I said that Chalobah and Achiampong I think are stylistically a lot more similar, whereas Tosin is different, and Maresca wants that Tosin profile, and then either of the other two can play either side of him, and they will play either side of him depending on how we're building up. Sometimes Chalobah will play to the left of him, sometimes he plays to the right of him, and Achiampong can do that as well. So I'd say Tosin is the like to use the phrase, the nailed one is Tosin.
Okay. Hypothetical question for you. Palmer's fit. You're on wild card. Do you go free Chelsea?
Probably would, from what I've seen at the moment.
So Palmer,
Yeah.
Joao Pedro, and same as what you got Sanchez, or would you go Chalobah, Cucurella, or Adarabioyo?
Um, I would be pretty tempted by Adarabioyo, I think, especially certainly at that price. But I do the fixtures are going to start getting more difficult, and it depends on what you think of teams like Manchester United. And I don't think we're going to um have an as it wasn't an easy game against Brighton last season, but I don't think we'll have as much joy. Remember, since we beat them, they've beaten us twice in a week, both at their
Yes,
ground.
true. I mean, you were pathetic that week, mate. It's probably as bad as it felt probably all of last season. I'm
It
gonna
took
guess
the
that.
goal of the season to beat us. That's what I'll say. We'll ignore
Yeah,
the other 2 goals that we let in that night.
right. And what
It took
about
the
the
goal.
the cup game?
Yeah. Um, no, I
I'm
think
not knocking you, Gary. I'm just saying it was a bad week, mate.
no, and I think that was at the time that the last transfer window had shut, and we lost both of our strikers in the last game, which was Gooey and Jackson, who managed to get injured against West Ham, which was like the last day of the window. And then it was like, right, what am I going to do with this? Let's try and cobble something together. And that was one of the first games was Brighton away in the cup, and whatever he did, it it didn't work at all. We were pathetic.
There's two things to think though. One, we've already acknowledged you look much stronger defensively.
Mm.
And two, yes, you're right. After, I mean, including even the Brentford game, I would say your next five's pretty tough, right? Brentford United and Forest all the way. You got home games with Brighton, Liverpool. Then it looks better, and it looks better for the long term. And I think also for Adarabioyo at 4.5, you don't have to play him every
Mm.
game. You can hide it for United away or Liverpool at home or whatever if that's what you want to do.
I think that's probably what I'd be tempted to do. From what I've seen so far, I like Petrovic is a 4.5 keeper, isn't he? Like, just go with him.
What's he got to do with anything?
I'm saying in terms of why would you spend 5 million on Sanchez when you can spend 4.5 on Petrovic, for example? Like, do you need to go to that level up? There is a 4.5 goalkeeper now
Yeah.
who's emerging as being a good option at 4.5, whereas at the start we were saying, is there actually a 4.5? I don't know. I think now it might have changed a little bit, and you're thinking, yeah, do I need to spend
I
the
guess
five on
the
Sanchez?
downside with this to tossing is no def cons. We won't expect them, will we? Often.
No, um, I assume not. I just don't think we. Well, I was going to say I don't think we play like that. By which I mean that usually Caicedo stops things before they get near our defence in the first place. I mean, if he was out, then I don't even think you'd want a Chelsea defender. If something happens to Caicedo, then that's I think that pretty much ruins our defence. As a, I think he's key to the way that we defend. In fact, he's also key to the way that we build up. Quite often, he almost drops in as a centre back, so it's almost like we're playing a back three, and Cucurella goes up the left, and Gusto, because it's usually him at the moment, goes on the right, and Caicedo drops really, really deep and almost makes like a back three. So I think he's the key to everything defensively at Chelsea, personally.
Tom, the opposite
Mm.
is your boys are going to be good for them. I think most people had identified Nathan Collins was going to be really good. You and I had a discussion on Correspondent Week about Seth Vandenberg
Yep.
being one really to watch now that he's obviously going to move inside permanently. He's potentially a great pickup here, isn't he, at 4.5? He's got 14 points in the three games, despite the fact we
Yeah,
conceded four goals.
exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
like a 3, 3, and an 8. That's great, isn't it?
Easy to stick him on the bench so when you don't need him. So
Well, that's the only thing. You'll stick him on the bench and you'll miss things like the Villa home clean sheet, I suppose.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah. The problem is our fixtures aren't very good, are they? So it's
No, they're
just
not.
I'm sure there's a better 4.5 to go and find that will play and maybe give you a better chance of clean sheets. That's the only problem.
Is he worth the saving versus Collins, do you
Probably,
think?
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going to play. I don't think there's any threat really from Pinnock or Aya really. So I think, yeah, you may as well go for him because it looks like those two are pretty much nailed down starting spot.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're going to be a bit shit and I pick up Vandenberg on game with 13 wildcard at about 4.3.
4.2.
Yeah, that's generally, yeah, I think that would be great because you've got a really good Christmas period actually. But then it's the same thing, Tom. I probably wouldn't start him most weeks, but it's a great little cover for Christmas. I'd probably be stuck there. If you had your time back,
Mm,
do you think you'd go in rather than Kelleher?
no,
Okay, that's interesting.
I just think I think it's not happened yet, but it will be one of those 4.5 goalkeepers that will just have the odd like 10, 11 pointer out of nowhere because we'll get a clean sheet when we're not expected to, and we'll make. He is a good keeper and he'll make a lot of saves. So I just think, and we do just the setup and how we're sort of setting up is very similar to what it has been previously. So just allowing a lot of shots from all over the place, and I think it will end up being getting to the point where yeah, he just makes loads of saves and scores those extra points from that side.
Do you think Sade's worth 1 million over Atara?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, no, that's fair. I agree with you. There's a few will have gambled Dango. Obviously, the goal against Villa. It's unlucky not to get another one at the weekend, marginal
Hmm.
offside. But as you said, the fixtures now stiffen up a bit. Chelsea at home, Fulham away, United at home, City at home, West Ham away, Liverpool, Palace, Newcastle, Brighton follows that before you play Burnley in game
Can't
week
wait.
13.
Can't wait.
It's a pretty rough run. What would you say to those who gambled on Utara for sort of like Sunderland in mind and that? Is it
I
hold?
mean, yeah, I mean, I think we still score goals. I know it's not been the best of starts for us, but we're still settling to a new manager doing something a bit different. But there's still quite a lot of creativity and goal scorers there. So I think if you got him, you can hold him. And I think we all score goals. I mean, yeah, it's just what else is about this that's similar. So I mean, I guess you got like Jack Grealish coming about now. He's is he 6 mil?
But I would bet that Ouattara will score more goals than Grealish. Grealish might do him over comfortably on assists, for example, but I bet Ouattara will score more.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, and he can play all of the front three positions. So you know, like you can't even rule out that if Thiago did get injured, he could go through the middle. I
Yep.
don't think it will happen, but that it potentially could be. Or if we're really getting starting to get a bit battered, it might be that Andrews goes right back to 3-5-2. Stick could be well. So that's the only time it would be a risk, but it could be. Then I'd imagine it'd be Tara and Thiago up top, maybe. Or yeah,
Okay. Do you think
hmm.
that team that's obviously started the two games since kind of disaster at Forest opening day,
Yeah,
is that the best 11 now?
yeah, I think so. And then I still think Rico Henry will come back in for Lewis Potter at some point, just because I think he's still trying to get up to speed. And I think he in his cameos he's come on, he's not looked quite there, but I think it's again just getting himself back up to match fitness, and he'll be playing. But yeah, apart from that, that's pretty much I'd say starting 11.
Okay. How much of a threat would Hickey be to, say, Kyoto moving forward? I saw a lot of people asking about Kyoto last
Mm,
week.
yeah, I don't know really because Cody's looked really good. He's been one of our better players, I'd say. I think the first game against Forest, he was not, but since then he's looked really good. And yeah, defended well, and yeah, I also think has been putting quite a few crosses on that side. But I mean, you probably better just go Vandenberg at the same price because Cody's not going to get.
Yeah, I guess it's more kind of laced as in a few people might have already gone Kyoto.
Oh, I
Do
don't
you
think.
think like they're comfortable
No,
moving forward?
at the moment, yeah, but I think there will be. At times it might even be positive that you might get Cody come off at 70, 60, 70 minutes and he could come on. But I mean, if we're winning 1-0 and we're defending the lead, that's actually not a bad place to be, is it? So,
No, agreed. Gary, so you signed Garnacho, and I, for one, am obviously absolutely stunned. I can't believe that that transfer went through. How is he fitting in, Mia, mate?
I think he's the best left winger that we have at the moment, certainly for the Premier League. I think he's better than Gittins. Now he is older and he's more experienced in the Premier League, so yeah, he's obviously going to be. But I, I don't know. A lot of our fans seem to be against the transfer, and like I know there's this whole thing about him being a dickhead, and there's like an element of that, but actually there's also an element that his brother's a bit of a dickhead, and also a lot of stuff they said after the
It's a
Europa
family
League final.
problem, is it?
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff they said after the Europa League final was right. Like, I mean, Manchester United were far better when he came on, and
That's absolutely. I can tell you that from behind the goal.
do
Shit myself
you know
once
what
he
I
come on,
mean?
actually.
That's it, exactly. So it's like, so all right, maybe his brother, who's a younger brother as well, like didn't go about it in like the best way, but it's like, I don't know, I don't mind too much about that kind of stuff. It's like, I think he's probably exactly the kind of thing that we needed. I'm looking forward to him playing for us. I think it'll be good for our fans to actually watch him play for Chelsea and go, okay, yeah, no, there is something about him because I think Gittins is going to take time to
It's
settle.
another no lose signing in the sense that if he does turn out to be a bit of a dick, your worst case scenario is you'll probably sell him for a little bit of profit next year or the year after or something. That's your
Yeah, so
worst
one
case
of our
scenario, isn't it?
off-cast clubs like Strasbourg or AC Milan or Arsenal, so it's one of them will buy him, won't they?
I mean,
But we
you might call them that. I wouldn't put Strasbourg in that category, mate.
we're not allowed to for legal reasons.
No, you're
No,
not.
we I think he's the kind of player that Maresca really wanted, and Chelsea were like that. They've been saying for months that they want to get rid of him. We're not going to go in and just pay the 60 million that they're asking. And we waited for them to come down, and they did come down a bit, and maybe they didn't come down as much as we wanted to, but we met in a bit. It's like it's fine. It's negotiation. We weren't desperate, and that was what I thought was good. Like it's I'd much rather that we signed him and had him ready for the Club World Cup and had him ready for pre-season, but it's probably saved us about 20 million not doing that. So that makes sense.
I, I think we probably assume at this stage he probably won't start at Brentford. Fair.
Uh, Don't know. I wouldn't assume that
Okay.
necessarily. I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, well, I've not checked, but I'm guessing he's not in the Argentina squad, so he's probably going to be there with Maresca for the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
But then again,
We've got
give
no idea what his fitness levels are like,
no,
obviously, so we'd be
we
guessing.
don't.
Okay, but you think he'll become first choice left winger. I agree with you. What's the impact on Neto and Esteval, therefore?
Well, now the way things have gone, Neto's probably going to end up partly playing as a centre forward sometimes. Esteval, I thought has looked brilliant since he first came. The player that he reminds me of, and you probably need to be our age to remember when Arjen Robben first signed for Chelsea, and he was like young and he was just fearless and he's like giving the ball and he's like he just wants to run at people all the time. And what I've also really liked about Esteval is he doesn't mind getting kicked about a bit. Like people have been trying that, and he'll stand up and he'll get on with it. And so it's really difficult, I think, at the moment to leave him out. But we are going to have a lot of games, so he's definitely going to get minutes. And Neto is one of Maresca's favourites. I didn't think he played that well against Fulham either, to be honest, and I wasn't surprised that he got taken off. But he's going to play. I guess they're all just going to see slightly reduced minutes.
Okay. So therefore that makes that group avoidable, does it? Neto, Esteval.
Unless somebody really makes a case for themselves, which Neto hasn't certainly in fantasy terms. I think he has in terms of what he does for the team because I think he's brilliant. As I said, I didn't think he played that well on Saturday, but I think he's fantastic.
Okay.
He was really good at like West Ham and stuff like that. And Esteval got a lot of plaudits there, which was right. And I think he got man of the match, which I would still give it to Neto. But until one of them shows I'm going to be the one that's having all the shots, or I'm going to be the one that's creating all the chances, which I don't think they are when you've got Joao Pedro and Palmer. It's easier just to avoid them.
Any love for Enzo? Because that's the opposite, isn't it? Those minutes are a lot more secure.
Yeah, it's
Four attacking returns in the last two.
yeah, and it seems to be the backup penalty taker, which we all assumed, including me, was going to be Joao Pedro, and I wasn't sure about him taking it, and I wasn't even that convinced by the penalty. And actually, I didn't think he played very well on Saturday either. There seems to be a theme here, doesn't there? But he is going to play a lot of the time. He's our captain because Reece James is actually our captain, and he's seemingly out of favour. So
If,
yeah,
if I said to you now, buy one of them midfielders, say you're on wildcard, hypothetical here, let's say Palmer's ruled out for a few weeks. If I said to you, right, buy one of them midfielders if Palmer's out, where does your money go?
well, right now you can't go Garnacho because we've not seen him. So, and I don't think Neto really has had the contribution. So I'd be looking at either Esteval or Enzo, and I think on Enzo you can stick him in there and like you
Leave
don't
it.
need him to return every week. That's it exactly. In 8 weeks' time, leave him there and you go, oh yeah, you got like a couple of goals and a couple of assists or whatever. So yeah, probably him for security.
All right. Gents, thank you both very much. Let's do correct score predictions before we finish. Tom,
2-1 to us.
your face, mate,
Yeah, I
was
know.
so sad when you said it.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that, or do you want to change your mind?
No, I'm happy. I'll stick.
Gary?
I was actually, I've only remembered now. Have we lost it this your place? I
No,
can't
you've had some
remember that we have.
shitty results at home, but I don't think you've lost there.
That's what I
No.
was just thinking. Yeah, I think we are unbeaten at the Gtech. So that yeah, that to continue. Let's say 2-0. Professional performance 2-0.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you both very much, gents. Reminder, you can listen back to yesterday's Clash of Correspondents, Johnny Pringle and Alex Trembath on the Manchester Derby. We've got a WSL preview for you tomorrow with Lauren Harris. David will be with me for the weekend on Friday. We've got two more COTCs next week ahead of game week 4 as well. West Ham v Tottenham with Chris Stone, Ricky Stauners, and Bournemouth versus Brighton with Neil Grover and Sam Murray. Just sees me to say thanks very much to Tom and to Gary. Good luck, gentlemen. Cue music, please. Man child.